The moment the CEO closed his eyes on the executive lounge sofa, the entire floor seemed to hold its breath, because everyone believed powerful men only rested when they had nothing left to fear. Sunlight poured through the glass walls of the 42nd floor, washing the room in gold, and yet an uneasiness lingered in the air. Miles Harrow, founder and CEO of Harrow Tech, had announced he needed a short nap after a brutal board meeting, but the truth beat louder in his chest than the city below. He wasn't tired. He was testing something he had quietly lost faith in years ago: human sincerity. Before the story unfolds further, take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. One Heart Stories. If you believe kindness deserves second chances and quiet goodness should always be seen. Miles lay still, breathing slow, his tailored suit immaculate against the leather couch, his watch catching the daylight. He had noticed the janitor earlier that morning, a man named Elias Romero, pushing a worn cleaning cart with careful precision. Elias moved differently than most people in the building. He never rushed, never cut corners, never looked at his phone. He carried himself like someone who understood that every small task mattered, even when no one was watching. Miles had ordered his assistant to leave the floor clear, then deliberately remained behind, pretending to sleep, to see what kind of man worked when power was vulnerable. Elias entered the lounge quietly, the soft hum of daytime traffic far below filling the silence. His uniform was clean but faded, sleeves rolled up, revealing hands marked by years of honest labor. He was a single father, though no one in the building knew that. His mornings began before sunrise, packing lunches, tying shoelaces, promising his son he would be home before dark. By day, he cleaned offices filled with people who rarely noticed him. By night, he studied online courses, chasing a future that felt just out of reach. Today was no different, except for the man lying still on the couch. Elias paused when he saw Miles. Not because he recognized the CEO, but because he saw a man alone. He lowered his cart, dimmed the light slightly to keep the sun from glaring in Miles's face, and moved carefully around the room. He wiped surfaces with extra care, ensuring no noise would disturb the rest of someone who looked exhausted. Inside, Elias was carrying his own weight. Rent was overdue, his son's school needed fees he didn't yet have, and his body ached from long shifts. Still, he worked with dignity, because that was the one thing life hadn't taken from him. As minutes passed, Miles listened. He heard the soft rhythm of work, the respect in the silence, and something unfamiliar tugged at him. He expected indifference, maybe opportunism. He expected corners cut, drawers opened, perhaps even mockery. What he did not expect was reverence. Then, as Elias reached the doorway, he stopped again. He turned back toward the sleeping figure, eyes soft, shoulders heavy with unspoken prayers, and leaned slightly forward. Elias whispered something meant for no audience, a private offering spoken in the belief that no one important ever listened. He whispered a hope that the man resting would find peace, that whatever burden he carried would lift, that God would give him strength to be kinder than the world expected. He added a quiet promise to clean the room again later, just in case. It was not flattery. It was not fear. It was compassion. Miles froze beneath closed eyes. The whisper struck him harder than any insult ever had. In that instant, the boardroom battles, the lawsuits, the endless climb to the top all felt hollow. No one had ever wished him peace without wanting something in return. His chest tightened, memories flooding back of a childhood when his own father had worked nights and still prayed for strangers. The test he had designed suddenly felt cruel, because the answer stood shining in its simplicity. When Elias left, Miles sat up slowly, staring at the door long after it closed. The sun was higher now, the day fully alive. Something inside him shifted. That afternoon, Miles didn't summon executives or advisors. He asked for janitorial schedules, employee records, and education benefits. He learned Elias's story not through interrogation, but through quiet research. A man raising a child alone, working double shifts, studying by borrowed light. The next weeks unfolded differently in the building. Policies changed. Tuition assistance quietly expanded. Shift flexibility appeared where it never had before. Elias noticed his life easing, not by miracle, but by intention. One afternoon, Miles passed Elias in the hallway. No words were exchanged, no recognition offered. But Miles nodded with genuine respect, and Elias felt seen without knowing why. Months later, Elias completed his certification and moved into a technical role within the company, still humble, still grateful, still whispering prayers for people who never knew his name. Near the end of this story, if it touched your heart even a little, please engage with this video by liking, sharing, or subscribing, because stories like these live on through your support. And before the ending, a special request from us to you: please comment what moment moved you most or share a time kindness surprised you. Miles never told anyone about the fake nap. He didn't need to. The whisper had changed him more than exposure ever could. In the bright clarity of daytime, he learned that power was not tested by control, but by the courage to be changed by quiet goodness. And somewhere between glass towers and cleaning carts, two lives moved forward, not because of wealth or rank, but because one man believed compassion mattered even when no one was watching.